Now here's a shot that comes up on this game, and let's pause right there and let's take a look at where we need to be on the 7 to get back on the 9. And in an effort to get perfect on the 7, you could put top right on this and go 2 rows and come up absolutely perfect on the 7. Or you could draw it straight on back with a power draw and a little bit of bottom right and finally get perfect on the 7. Or you could just really stun draw this really hard and come off the right hand round and back up for perfection on the 7 ball. And before we do any of that, let's look at the straight in shot on the 7 ball. And let's call that 0 degrees. And let's find a 90-degree line and we'll call that a cross. And let's cut that in half and we see a 45-degree angle from the object ball. And if you're shooting from this position, it's probably not a good decision. So let's take this space, the space remaining, and cut it into thirds, and we find a 15-degree angle, and we find a 30-degree angle. This 30-degree angle is absolutely what the best players in the world prefer because they can get anywhere on the pool table with this angle. With the 15-degree angle, it's a little too full of a hit and you're limited on what you can do. And with a 45-degree angle, it's a little too much of a cut. And again, you're limited on where you can be with the cue ball. So 30 degrees is what you want. And let's extend this 30-degree line back, all the way back to the left-hand round. And let's do away with the clutter. And you should know that no matter where you are on this line, it's still going to be 30 degrees. It's just going to be a little bit longer of a shot. So whether it's here, or here, or here, they're all 30 degrees, and they're all optimal. To see more about these angles and your options in very, very minute detail, go back and watch. Actually, it's my second most viewed pool video ever. And it's called Cut Shots, Aiming and Deflection Part 1. I'll link you in the top right-hand corner of your video right now, and I'll try to remember to put it in the description. I started out with a pretty good break here to make the wing ball, which is the 8 ball, and I made another ball. Let's see what it's going to be. I think it was a 4 ball. Yeah, the 4 ball, and I didn't take the time to go stand behind the 2 ball and see where I need to be on the 3, but the first shot is definitely a stop shot, and I thought the second shot on the 2 ball was going to be a stop shot too. I should have took a better look at it. And the result is I get a little bit on the left-hand side of the 3 ball for a shot in the corner. I hit a stop shot. It was a perfect stop shot. But I wanted a stop shot on the 3 ball too. And I'm going to have to roll up just a hair here. And this is where I kind of get bad on the 6 ball because of that shot right there and having to roll up on it a little bit. I could have spun it a little bit more, but enough is enough. And I go into the 6 ball, but I get a little bit of a roll. And here's the shot that we highlighted at the start of the video. Instead of getting fancy and trying to be perfect, I just kind of stunned it out just a little bit. I still have that 30-degree angle. And it would have been a little bit easier to be closer to the 7 ball, but it was good enough. And the whole moral of the story is don't let perfection or striving to be perfect be the enemy of good enough. And I'm not the first person to say that. I think the original quote was from a French philosopher or something. And I'm not the first person to repeat that quote either. Don't let perfection be the enemy of good enough. And this game also brings up a quote from Buddy Hall who said, don't play position when you already have position. So that comes into factor too. And I see this mistake a lot in the pool rooms, even by really good players. They're always trying to be perfect. Everybody wants to be perfect, but good enough is good enough. And often in striving for perfection, that's when we get into trouble. And that's the whole reason I made this video, is to drill this into your head. Nobody's perfect, and striving to be perfect often really, really, really destroys pool games. Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.